at this point more than Obama at this point in when Obama was running. He draws bigger crowds, and eventually the media is going to have to pay attention to him, especially when he wins in New Hampshire and then he wins in Iowa.
It's weird because let's say he wins. I mean, the reason that he won't win, or potentially, is that there's this system that is that prevents you from
that
being
he rails
outside.
against, that he speaks the truth,
right?
to.
But I'm just saying that what's going to happen is either if he succeeds, chances are that also means on the other side, Trump will succeed. Because they both are outsiders in that sense of not being supported by the parties, and so maybe it's going to be Sanders versus Trump.
I think I'd like that.
Which I would hope. I mean,
like Bernie's chances in that fight.
Oh,
why? Because he's unflappable and he's on message because he's got the same message for the last 30 years in politics, right?
Oh,
income inequality, and he's unflappable.
And those debates will be really, really fascinating.
Yeah.
Those debates will be must-watch television.
There's too much faith I have in America that Trump would win. But, who knows? Bush was reelected, so what do I know?
Yeah.
But
I don't think you had 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds thinking that Bush was an idiot yet, like when he was running the first time. But now, like your kids and my kids, they think he's a joke. They think he's an idiot.
No.
Yeah.
So So hey, I want to ask something about, because you watched the State of the Union, right?
I didn't watch all of it.
You did.
I watched, yeah.
So did Obama say anything about the TPP? Because remember, like a year ago, I predicted that would pass, and then I was just curious if he touted that, the Trans-Pacific Partnership,
right,
NAFTA on steroids deal.
Well, definitely the focus of the speech was on his successes, and so that's coming in, right? I don't know.
And wanting to continue, not to just lay back in this final year and really get some reform done. So that's the impression I got.
So here's the headline: Obama renews call for TPP ratification in final State of the Union speech. That's all I can tell you.
There you go. So here's something that happened this week. TransCanada, because Keystone XL got vetoed, right? That went down. TransCanada is suing us, the U.S., I think for $15 billion. And this will be the wave of the future under TPP because multi-international companies, profits will come before anything else, and they will have the right to sue us if the government does something to interfere with their profits. This is basically foreshadowing, and in fact, in the lawsuit, they are citing the NAFTA agreement, but TPP is even worse than this, and that's what's going to happen. So it won't be the U.S. of A. We're going to allow, multinational.
What's great about this is that there's so many laws that prevent citizens from suing. There's so many situations where, if this was a private company, you could sue them, but it's the federal government, and there's protections, and so it's good that we're at least letting corporations, which are people, to sue.
Yeah. Yep. And so this will be. They're setting a precedent.
I think the only way to protect yourself these days is incorporate yourself.
So it's odd. You should, and if you haven't already. I mean, I have.
I'm too busy branding myself.
But
so so people know who they're listening to, this is Jim Coughlin, LLC.
It's ironic that Obama
sounds like a rap title.
I'm DBA Paul Salamoff.
Nice.
It's just ironic that he would be promoting TPP and at the same time getting sued for vetoing the XL pipeline, or maybe it was an executive order. He did something to stop it, right? Because we're only going to get more of that under what he wants to pursue. So,
I do remember now in the State of the Union, he did mention how this allows us to have more influence in Asia than China, and all right, well,
you know how? Because we'll turn into the next China. Because once we get workers here to work for like 17 cents a day, all those jobs are coming back.
Oh, yeah.
They're all coming back.
Hey, we got Paul Salamoff. Paul J.
Movie
Salamoff.
Movie nut extraordinaire.
And it is, I mean, this is...
GBA Paul Salamoff.
Yeah, right. And this is like, for movie lovers, this is the award season. Do you care, by the way, before we get to the movies you've watched and everything, do you care about any of the award shows, all of them? What?
I actually do, but not...
You were so gay.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I enjoy the awards season. I'm very good at predicting who's going to win Oscars every year. It's uncanny. I can pretty much figure it out. But it's more just for that kind of enjoyment as opposed to really feeling that a lot of these awards are... makes sense to me. I mean, I'm still railing about The Martian being the funniest movie of the year according to the Golden Globes. But I enjoy the Oscars. The Oscars for me, because I'm not into sports, the Oscars for me are, the Super Bowl. That's the Super Bowl for me. So.
Right, yeah.
So, yes, to answer your question, I do.
So are we coming over to your house for like a barbecue?
Yeah. That's right.
Okay. All right.
That's right.
I mean, I kind of agree. It's... I think the Oscars, what I like about the Oscars is it's once a year for film versus the Emmys where the wrong actor or the wrong TV show can win 7 years in a row.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But, of course, in the Academy Awards, there's a lot of history of people who, this guy was never nominated. And it's like, well, chances are they did all right without being, in other words, if Paul Newman had never won an Academy Award, he'd still be Paul Newman.
Yes, exactly.
So
it's interesting, and I think this year, even though it's sort of like a little wide open in regards to Best Picture, sort of, I think a lot of the wins are pretty obvious this year. I think that the wins are pretty obvious this year, and this whole thing, I'm the whole diversity thing where it's like, oh man, did everybody need to be white this year? Did everybody, especially when you had like Idris Elba, who was fantastic in Beasts of No Nation, and Creed was amazing, and Straight Outta Compton was fantastic. There were some really fantastic, diverse people other than us whiteys who deserve nominations.
That's what I like about I like it when we're just a night where we can celebrate like beautiful, rich white people.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
The amazing thing is they with Straight Outta Compton, like, this movie, I mean, maybe it's an ensemble cast, maybe it doesn't deserve an acting nomination. Who can we honor with this? They're like, oh, the screenwriters are all white.
Yeah.
so that was it. They got the nomination for best screenplay.
Yeah.
But I mean, here's the thing. I mean, I'm going to be, I'm going to say that I think 2015 was seriously one of the best years in films in a while. There's always this like, oh, films aren't as good as they used to be, and yes and no, but there's still a lot of crap, from the dawn of filmmaking on. I mean, every year there's as much garbage as there is good, good films. And I was actually pretty surprised at how many films I walked out satisfied this year.
I saw a lot of good movies.
Well, that's just because you masturbate in the theater. I think that's,
this is true.
Okay,
this is true.
Can we cut to the chase? And I just want to ask you, because I have my strong opinion.
Okay.
Movie Picture of the Year.
Okay, well, you know what? Okay, I put a list. I saw 56 films in the theater this year, and then hundreds more. Yeah, hundreds more on Blu-ray or on television or Netflix or whatever.
And by the way, kind of just interrupt. Randy watched just as much sports on television, and he also masturbated each time.
Oh, no. I mean, okay, maybe.
Here's the thing. So I put a top 10 list because there were so many great films. I put not only a top 10 list, but I also put like sort of a honorable mentions, because my top 10 list isn't necessarily what I feel are the best films of the year, like the high points of the art. For me, these films were the ones that I walked out of the theater the most satisfied with.
Right,
I said, wow, I fucking enjoyed myself. This had surprises for me, and this is a quality movie and was made with care.
Or you cried.
Yeah, or I cried. So do you want me to just give you my top 10?
Yeah, let's
I'll do them in reverse order.
Okay, I like
that because it's
Yeah.
suspenseful. My number 10 film of the year is a film called The Gift, which is a really, really underrated film if you haven't seen it.
Carl's giving it the thumbs up.
Yeah, Joel Edgerton wrote. I believe he wrote it too. He directed the film. He's actually nominated for Best First Time Director from the DGA. A nifty little thriller that actually winds up being a little more of a drama than you would expect. I thought the ad campaign for it kind of misrepresented the movie. It kind of makes it look like a Fatal Attraction type film when it's not that at all. It's actually a very smart film. My number 9 film is a comedy called What We Do in the Shadows, which is actually playing on HBO right now, which is Jermaine Clement and, of Flight of the Conchords fame. And what it is, it's sort of a pseudo-documentary about this group of vampires that let this documentary crew see how they live. And it is just absolutely funny from beginning to end. I've seen it a couple of times now, and it does not lose any of its
very
magic.
Funny, yeah.
It's very funny, but it's also very endearing. My number 8 film would be Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation. I really, you know what? It was just entertaining. I watched it again last night. It didn't lose anything for me. It's Tom Cruise knows what he's doing. Say what you want about the guy. He knows how to make an entertaining movie. Chris McQuarrie, who directed it, just really knocks it out of the park. And I really think, Mission Impossible 3, 4, and 5 have been really terrific films. My number 7 film would be Krampus, which really surprised me.
With Dave Koechner.
Yeah. It's it's the closest thing I've seen to Gremlins in quite some time. And it just worked. It worked. It's a fun film. It's a horror comedy. Horror comedy is very difficult to do, and it's exceptionally well made and well shot. The sound design is incredible. Worth seeing. Krampus, worth seeing. My number 6 film, Sicario. That was a complete surprise to me because I see so many trailers because I go to the theater a lot, and for some reason I missed the trailers to Sicario, so I kind of went into this movie blind, which was great because the main character, Emily Blunt, doesn't know the situation that she's been pulled into. This is sort of like a political not a political thriller, it's sort of a, what's the best way to put it, they're going on a mission, on a covert mission, and she doesn't know really what she's been pulled into. So not seeing anything, it was great going on this journey of discovery with her, and it is a dark film. It is really worth seeing. Actually, I just picked it up on Blu-ray yesterday because I loved it so much. My number 5 film is Creed, which was another big surprise for me because I'm a huge Rocky fan. I really felt that Rocky Balboa, the last film in the series, was exceptionally good, very underrated movie, and I was really concerned, and I thought that Stallone's performance in Rocky Balboa was his best since Rocky, the original Rocky, and there was a lot of concern, especially the way that Creed was advertised, and Creed has a lot more on its mind than you would think, and it really is Stallone's best performance of this character. And he deserves the nominations he's been getting. He deserves the accolades he's been getting. It's a really amazing. It's unprecedented.
Now, how big is his part in the movie in terms of?
Oh, he is a really big supporting role. And what's interesting is I'm pretty smart when I watch trailers. I can kind of piece it together and figure out, okay, this is sort of how the film's going to lay out. I was really sort of fooled, or not fooled, but I really thought the film was going to play out a certain way, in a very cheesy kind of cliche way, and it doesn't at all.
Yeah.
And which I really appreciated about that film. Okay, so getting into the top 4, this might be a little controversial to people, but Avengers: Age of Ultron. Loved it.
All right.
It's a fun movie. I saw it twice in the theater. It's not great cinema, but it was fun and entertaining with, I thought, a compelling villain. My number 3 film, Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
All right.
All right, I saw one. I saw that one.
Good.
I saw that one.
Here's the thing.
We camped out.
Yep.
That one.
That's right, we did.
Took the kids out of school.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
7:30 in the morning. And I just real quick, because
Yeah.
I'd seen the original in 77 when I was a senior in high school. with two of my friends, and they were like, "Oh, we got to go see this new movie. We're going to go drink some beers and watch Star Wars." And so to commemorate that, 7:30 in the morning, we got some beer and got the kids drunk.
Nice.
And,
great. That's great.
It was, yeah.
You know what? Here's the thing. I've seen Star